All right, guys. So we just got news yesterday that Cornel West is leaving the Green Party, not seeking their nomination anymore, and apparently he's still going to run for president, but he's going to try to run as an independent. This is quite an interesting development. Now, one of the arguments that was one of the most pervasive arguments in favor of Cornel West is this idea of like, look, since he's running with the Green Party, we want another option that's not just Democrat or Republican. We want to make the Green Party more prominent. We want to get them to 5% in the polls so that they can get matching funds and potentially be more viable down the road in the future. And now with this move, that's no longer on the table. It's no longer on the table to like vote for him because he's in the Green Party to beef up the Green Party for the future. So it's not just about Cornel West now, it's about the future of American politics. And with him running as an independent, now it's just like an up or down vote on Cornel West. And as we know, no independent is going to win. RFK is apparently about to run as an independent as well. And then it's just a matter of what happens in terms of what percentage of the votes are taken from Trump versus what percentage of the votes are theoretically taken from Biden, and from what I've seen to this point, it looks like potentially RFK takes more votes from Trump, but Cornel West would take more votes from Biden. But now with Cornel running as an independent, I don't know, my sense of it is, Crystal, and you tell me if you agree with this.
Yeah.
I think it's probably, he'll have less of an impact on the election. I mean, even just from the standpoint of,
for sure, the
Green Party has a somewhat professional infrastructure, and they usually have ballot access in 48 states was the last time I remember, going back to like 2016, but sometimes it's like 46 or 44 or whatever, but it's over 40 states they have ballot access in. If you're running as an independent, my understanding is that's all on you to register yourself and be on the ballot in all these different places. And this is another interesting part of the conversation is like, well, what exactly happened here? He went from the People's Party to the Green Party. I thought going with the People's Party at all in the first place was a fool's errand because it's not even really a political party and it's amateur hour over there, and they haven't gotten anybody elected at any level of government anywhere in the United States of America, not at the local level, not at the state level, not at the national level, etc. Not even freaking dog catcher somewhere in Tuscaloosa, right? But the Green Party it's a little more serious as an organization, and so I thought it was a good move to go to the Green Party. Probably should have launched with the Green Party to begin with. But my guess is there's some sort, and look, guys, this is the dirty little secret about left politics, which I don't know how much of a secret it is anymore, but you got all sorts of pettiness and narcissism and ego, and you would think that the left, because it's more community-based than the right, that like, oh, they'd be willing to like work towards a greater
goal. Might be
goal.
some solidarity, since that's supposed to be important.
Etc. Listen, I know because I've been involved in these organizations. I was a co-founder of Justice Democrats. I know every single person at these organizations, not even just at the top of the organizations, even staffers at the organization. Everybody thinks they're special and wants to be the one, and you get all these massive clashes in personality and these fights behind the scenes, and if somebody's mad, you're outshining me here, or somebody's mad that like out of the 1,000 positions you've taken, I only agree with 987 of them, and the other 13 of them, you're now my enemy.
You're now my mortal enemy.
So now, so what's the deal? I don't know. Is there some sort of, disagreement between Jill Stein and Cornel West, who Jill Stein was helping him at the beginning of this process? Was there some sort of breakdown between Ajamu Baraka, who was Jill Stein's VP, and Cornel West? Was there some sort of disagreement between Peter Dow and Jill Stein, or was Howie Hawkins, who was the previous guy who was the Green Party nominee, is he involved somehow where, there's some sort of a disagreement? Are people who were quote-unquote next in line after Howie Hawkins to be the head of the party, are they mad that Cornel West jumped in and he's more famous and has more clout, so he would probably get the nomination? Or did Cornel West hear, hey, you're actually not going to win the nomination because you jumped the line and there are these other people, and, the Green Party primary would be small, and the people who would vote in it are longtime Green Party people. Do they resent the fact that this guy hopped in at the last minute? Something similar happened with Jesse Ventura when he was considering running with the Green Party. Yeah. They were just like, yeah, you're more famous. Yeah, you have more clout. Yeah, you'd have a better chance to get a higher percentage in the election. We don't care. You're not in the club. We want Howie Hawkins, who has the personality of a rotting banana, right? So, like, what is it? I don't know. I don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah, there's got to be some kind of like internal drama
I think so.
thing behind the scenes. That's the only thing that really makes sense. I don't know if you saw this, babe, but it looks Jill Stein is now thinking of running again with Cornel dropping out. So, I mean, and the other thing I would say is, even outside of like just the technical questions of, are you going to have ballot access and not having this, you know, more professional party structure behind you, for Cornel West supporters, like, it's also just got to be demoralizing. You know, this is the third party. Like, it makes you question the seriousness of the whole effort. I think there's, you know, no other way to say it, really. And there was no justification given, really, for the switch. There was not any even, like, you know, sort of rationalization around it. It was just like, all right, this is what I'm doing now, so I have no idea.
It was the issue with the Green Party, or was the issue with Cornel West and his people, or was the issue with both of them?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when you're doing your third switcheroo, well, no, second switcheroo, third
right.
switcheroo.
So you're it's the third party, right? It's when from People's Party to Green to Independent.
And this is all the time. Everybody knows it's, you know, you're not trying to win, right? Like, everybody knows that. Everybody knows you're not gonna win. You're not trying to win. Jesus Christ, we got all sorts of
crazy stuff going on here. But it's also, to your point about, you know, if the justification, if the idea of voting for Cornel West as Green Party candidate is like, okay, we're going to build up this party and we're going to try to get matching funds.
Now it's out the window.
All right, now are you switching to Jill Stein if she ends up being or whoever's the Green Party nominee? It's, yeah.
Look, I hate to say it, but this is 100% the left, man. Like, and I used to have the opinion of like, look, democracy by definition is a good thing. So if there's 7 progressives who want to run in this race and there's one establishment person, so be it. That used to be my reaction to it. But it's like, no, there's a math problem there. If you actually want the left to win, you guys need to figure your shit out and everybody get behind one person, which is why it was so frustrating to me that, like, there wasn't that agreement vis-a-vis Marianne.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, the reason why the left gained so much power and so much clout at the time was because in 2016 we were all unified behind Bernie. 2020, you know, 90% of us unified behind Bernie. And then now it's like, well, I'm gonna vote for Jill Stein. Well, I'm gonna vote for Cornel West. Well, you know, some weirdo diagonalists were like, I'm gonna vote for RFK. You know, and it's like, you're never, ever, 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 ever going to get power, and by extension, get your policies, if this is the way that you guys function.
Well, and
everything
now,
is so haphazard, and anyway, go ahead.
At this point, too, RFK's dropping out of the Democratic primary to make his independent run. So it should be a no-brainer when your only 2 candidates in the Democratic primary are Marianne Williamson and Joe Biden. Like,
Facts.
If you're on the left, that's a fucking no-brainer. I don't see why it's hard for everybody to unify behind, like, okay, listen, we have different opinions. Kyle and I have been pretty clear about ours with regard to how you approach the general election. But in the Democratic primary, how is there even any dispute over what is the right course to take and what would be the most, like, productive use of time with regards to electoral politics?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, well, and then we get into the, you know, the conversations we always come back to, which is like, who's the terminal contrarian, right? Who has the online brainworms? Who's a narrative humper? Who's a virtue signaler and a purity tester to the extent of, like, even if you agree with me on 92% of policies, you're my mortal enemy and I will go after you more than I'll go after somebody who I disagree with on 92% of policies, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But that's, I mean, look, this is the left. There's a perpetual, like, I don't think the left, generally speaking, really gives the slightest shit about something like discipline.
Well,
right? Like, that's just not a thing. That's not something they value at all.
I think it comes out of the fact that there's, like, so little track record of organized success that the incentives are all in favor of these, like, individual stands and, like,
being
you know,
fractionalized.
virtue signaling and, like, these little internecine battles, because the larger battle seems hopeless. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna like feel like I'm exerting some power, have some influence within these little, like, internecine conflicts. I think that's, to me, that's the broader thing that's going on here.
That's not politics. You're not doing politics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're stroking your ego. Congratulations. But, like, the final point I wanted to, you brought up RFK. He's going to do an independent run. At least that's the reporting as of now. We also got word he's going to talk at CPAC. So now I heard this and my reaction was like, come on, there's no way he doesn't know hey, I'm helping Biden here, and that's actually his point. And I know you think like, no, maybe he's not bright enough to really know that, right? But I mean, that's going to be the result. The polls show right now it is likely that he would help Biden more than Trump.
That's actually not really what the polls show, though, because if you look at his favorability rating, he's much higher favorability rating with Republicans than Democrats. But there have been 2 polls so far that have been like, okay, if it's Trump and Biden and RFK, what happens? And the results were a lot less clear. In fact, in those 2 polls so far, he actually took more from Biden. So I think probably you're right that he takes more from Trump just because of the issue set that, is like, I mean, the anti-vax stuff is the most clear cut. That's identified closely with the right at this point, his position on Ukraine as well. But that Kennedy name is very powerful. So I don't know. It's not as clear to me as you feel like it is, I guess I would say.
I don't think it's clear, but here's the reality. If you're going to CPAC and you're trying to appeal to the people at CPAC,
yeah,
you are leaning into, I want to get more Republican supporters.
Yeah, but you're also going to, but you're also having, I mean, there's reports that Trump is going to start attacking him. And so if he Trump turns him into like an anti-Trump villain, then what impact is that going to have on him? Since how you feel about Trump is like the central dividing line in American politics. So I don't know how it all works out. I mean, the most recent poll that came out actually had him polling a fairly, I want to say like, I don't know, 17% or something. It was a pretty significant number for like an independent party run. I would not expect him to get that high in numbers because
he ain't getting 17%.
We see that routinely where, like Gary Johnson was polling significant numbers before his run in 2016. And when it comes down to it, people realize like, well, it is, whether I like it or not, you got 2 parties with
on election day, people get it.
Real chance of success. So I got to make a choice between these 2 people, even if I don't really like them. And so usually those numbers really collapse and end up being a lot lower. And then we also have, if he's running truly independent and not affiliating with like libertarian ticket or whatever, then he has the same issues of ballot access that Cornel West does. So is he even end up on the ballot in all these states? You have both Republicans and Democrats because it's unclear who he takes from with motivation to try to screw him over and keep him off the ballot altogether. So there's a lot of question marks there over how much of an impact he'll even have in the end at all.
Yeah, that may be the ace up the sleeve, is that for Cornel and for RFK, I would imagine the Democratic and the Republican Party will actually be united in their attempt to like, let's keep these fools off the ballot.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's do that because we don't know. RFK might hurt the Republicans, might hurt the Democrats. We don't know. Let's not roll the dice, right? And same, Cornel West would in theory hurt Democrats more, but like I think they'll just try to screw them all over. You know what I mean?
Could very well be.
Anyway, that's all we got for you guys. Talk to you later.